up, you guys? This is Rob from the Gay Guy Plays, and today on the Snapshot, we're going to be taking a look at Umbra's Undying Howl build, which isn't completely accurate because you can still definitely die with this build if you're not using it correctly. However, it is extremely survivable. I've actually taken the last few days to test this out and to really kind of like put it to the grindstone, and I think I finally found something that I want to show you guys and be like, alright, this is what I will put my name on. So let's just go ahead and jump straight into it. Now, as many of you guys know, there's really not too much room to mess around with Umbra because he's got Umbral Intensify, Umbral Fiber, and Umbral Vitality already in there. So I just went ahead and added Prime Continuity, Streamline Hunter's Adrenaline, Fleeting Expertise, and Chromatic Blade. Chromatic Blade is definitely one that's going to make a lot of a difference in your build. Growing Power isn't necessarily something that you have to have, but it's just there. You could go ahead and toss in a Steel Fiber if you like, because this build is going to be focused around using Chromatic Blade, Exalted Blade, however you want to refer to it. And then I actually tossed on Speed Drift because I liked the animation speed increase. Not enough to like put a natural talent in there, but just enough to maybe give up a Cunning Drift for a little bit more of that activation. You'll also notice that we've got 2 Arcane Graces in there as well, because Umbra, of course, is very, very tanky with Umbral Fiber and Umbral Vitality. Both of those give him a bigger pool to work with, allow him to take a couple more hits, and Arcane Grace pairs so well with all of this because, you know, it allows you to regenerate a little bit of health over time. So passively, you'll get some stuff back without having to work for it. However, you know me, I like making you guys work a little bit. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Exalted Umbral Blade. So as you can see, again, we've got Sacrificial Steel, Sacrificial Pressure. That's, of course, going to be on there. We've also got Primed Fury in there, Condition Overload, of course, because we're using Chromatic Blade. I put in a Primed Prever Strike, Shocking Touch for that Corrosive, and then I tossed in a Status Elemental Mon, just one to push it to 100%, and I've got an Unranked Life Strike. Now, one of the things you guys are probably looking at me about, and you're like, wait a second, do you not have Drifting Contact in there? And the main reason why I took Drifting Contact out was because of the fact that legitimately you just don't really use it on Exalted Blade, mainly because of the fact that it's really your Blade Waves that are dealing all of the damage, and Blade Waves don't actually add in to your melee combo counter. So I found that over time, as I was watching like my combo counts and all of that kind of stuff and paying attention to it, I just realized I was never really breaking 2 or 3 unless I was like, you know, going after it. And you can go like an hour into solo survival and really like never break 1 or 2 times damage multipliers. So I was like, you know what? Maybe it's just not going to be worth it. Let's just go ahead and just ixnay it and go ahead and add in like a Volcanic Edge. So we still get that 100% status chance, but we get an additional elemental mod in there. Now, as you guys know, I am using Chromatic Blade, and currently I am running Fire on that. You could totally use Blast too if you felt like it. Go ahead and toss that in there. And as you can see, I'm also running an Unranked Life Strike. Now, the big reason that I'm running the Unranked Life Strike is mainly because of the fact that if you run a fully ranked Life Strike, whenever your Blade Waves hit an enemy, that counts as a strike. So, if you have a Blade Wave that hits like 4 enemies in a row, or you have a tight cluster of enemies, and you accidentally let 2 Blade Waves out while you're still channeling, that can add up to a lot of energy, and you really don't need as big a health boost as you think you will from the full Life Strike on this specific build. Now, on other places, yeah, go full Life Strike. But for this one, because of the fact that you do have those projectiles that will penetrate multiple enemies at once, you really don't need it, and you really don't need to mess up your energy to go along with it, because that is definitely a part of the build. Now, another part of the build that may just be temporary, it's a thing, because this is something I've been playing around with. As you can see right here, I am using a Dagger's Awe. You don't necessarily need to use a Dagger's Awe. All you need is this right here, is Exodia Might. Now, for those of you guys who have no clue what Exodia Might is, it gives you a 50% chance for 30% lifesteal for 8 seconds. So whenever you do a finisher, you'll get 30% lifesteal for 8 seconds, right? So you're seeing kind of what we're doing here. The odd thing is, and I'm not going to say this too loudly, so I'm going to whisper this. This arcane, for some reason, still transfers to your Umbra Blade. Don't ask me why. I don't know how long that's gonna be viable for. That's why we have the life strike on the Umbral blade, just in case, and that's why we have the arcane graces on Excalibur Umbra. But you know, we're talking about a very, very survivable build here that you can pretty much solo into, you know, an hour of survival. But legitimately, it's a nice little trick to have. You will definitely see it. Trigger a couple times during gameplay. So I figured I'm gonna go ahead and cut into some pre-recorded stuff. But I do need to mention here one of the other things that I wanted to go ahead and add into this was I was not really using the optimal focus school. And that's, like, if you're going to try to go into solo survival on Mott specifically, and for those of you guys who are unaware, Mott has a damage multiplier. So enemies on Mott are innately, I think the number was 4 times stronger. They will literally deal heaps more damage to you than if you were to go into a standard mission and stay in there for an hour. So I'm really stress testing it against some hard stuff. And unfortunately, I didn't bring in the appropriate focus school. I did bring in Naramon if I was going to recommend any focus school to go with this build. And I'll go ahead and play this on stream and everything to double check my work to make sure I'm going right. Is I would actually say go with Unairu. Because you get things like Stone Skin, which is a boost to armor. I know it's not a big boost to armor, but you know, you take what you can get. It's also got Void Spines, where 100% of the damage is returned to the attacker, which is definitely nice because you're going to be taking hits on this. And then Sundering and Crippling Dash, not bad to add into the mix as well. The other one that I would suggest is Matarai, and it's really, really strange because I feel like people go for Naramon, Zeneric, and then Vazarin. Those are kind of like their go-tos, but in this case, from what I've seen, the benefits that you're really going to get are from Matarai and Unairu, and that's because Phoenix Talons has the physical damage increase, which isn't all that massive, but you do get the elemental damage increase as well. So you've got that, and then you've got Void Radiance, which gives you the blind, and Void Strike, which will give you, upon leaving Void Mode, the next 8 attacks will deal 12% additional damage for every second cloak. So it's kind of like you get this damage boost along with it. So Unairu if you want more defense and you want to return damage to attackers, Matarai if you want to be able to kind of like put out more damage. So that's the way that I'm going to point you to when it comes to your focus schools. Don't be like me and leave Naramon on. If you guys have watched my Sacrifice playthrough, you guys know that I left the same ship on the whole time, which was not my intention, and that's kind of what happened here. Regardless, let's go ahead and jump into the gameplay. Okay, so I have been doing so much playtesting with Umbra, it's been absolutely insane. Legitimately, on my last recording, I actually had to pause towards the end because one of my contacts was coming out of my eye. I was like, I need to go and I need to take this out before this baby ends up on the floor. So that's how much I've been grinding Mott. And for those of you guys who don't know, I do want to kind of make you guys aware of the fact that Mott does have a 4 times damage multiplier. It's considered a T4 node. So if you're getting your butts wiped in Mott or any of those higher zones, you know it's because there's that damage multiplier there. I do believe it's 4 times. It might be more than that off the top of my head. I'm not 100% sure, but I know that they definitely amp up the damage there. So this build that you're seeing here will actually perform even better anywhere else on the star chart, which is always nice to know that, you know, we're doing it big for you guys here. However, I do want to go ahead and just give you guys the rundown of how this works, and it's fairly easy. The crux of the build is just using Chromatic Blade and Radial Howl, and that's basically it. You've got Arcane Grace covering your butt to give you a little bit of regeneration over time. You've got Life Strike for any of those moments where you take like a big chunky hit, or you can tell that you're taking a lot of hits, a lot of little hits. Just go ahead and turn that baby on and start slicing through enemies. And because of the fact that we kept the leveling of Life Strike low, if you're taking hits at the same time as you're dishing out those hits, you'll end up getting your energy restored via Hunter's Adrenaline while you're restoring your health at the same time. So there's a nice little trade-off there to kind of keep you alive, and in addition to that, you're gonna be doing a lot of radial blinding, so, you know, while it still works, go ahead and use your Arcane Might, oh my god, Exodia Might, that's what it is, and go ahead and pop up a couple finishers every now and then you'll have that innate life strike for 8 seconds, which is definitely awesome. So you have all of these waves to keep you alive. Aside from that, it is all just technical skill, which you guys know I'm not necessarily the best with. However, I feel like I did pretty good for myself before, you know, things started going a little bit awry. So the only thing that I do kind of want to point out to you guys is the fact that really the thing that you need to worry about on this specific build, because a lot of it is kind of like restorative over time and some of it's reactionary, is be careful for the one-hit kills. There was one point in the gameplay where I think I like rounded the corner into like the barrel of a crewman's shotgun, and it was towards, I think it was maybe like 45, 50 minutes into the run, and literally I just ran into him and boom, I was dead instantly. There was no time to react whatsoever, and there were some times where I just died instantly because there was a nullifier coming up behind me and I didn't even realize it. Now, of course, for the crewmen, it's easy. Make sure you keep everybody blind. And for the nullifiers, they are going to be one of those ones where you want to blind as many people as you can first, and then slowly start whittling away at the nullifier bubble and take them out as soon as you can. An interesting fact for them, that if you're not aware of this, the closer that you get to a nullifier, the less accurate they are with their sniper rifle. So make sure you get up pretty close. Don't try to like whittle down their bubble from too far off, because if you two are trading shots, like if you see that little blue bullet fly past your face, yeah, get right up close and personal with them so that you could go ahead and throw down, right? That way they'll have less accuracy and you'll be able to take their bubble down a little bit safer, and you'll be able to deal with them a little bit safer as well. So definitely use that strategy to take down those nullifiers, and really those are the only two that you have to worry about. Every now and then a corrupted ancient will try to drag you, and that always, like, it hurts my soul. It genuinely hurts my soul, because then, you know, you get the little butchers that run up to you and you're like, oh, I don't want to die to a fucking butcher. So be very wary of them as well. So it's kind of like my priority would go take out the nullifiers, take out the corrupted ancients first if you can, but nullifiers next. And then, you know, get rid of those crewmen. Not really as worried about the bombards and the heavy gunners, which is really, really interesting, because you'd think that they would be the ones that you're more, you know, afraid of. They're bigger, they're heavier, they're scarier, you know? But because of the fact that I am running corrosive on the exalted chromatic blade, and we have a 100% status chance, you're able to shred their armor pretty quickly. Like, if you don't take them out within the first like 2 or 3 hits, I'd be surprised. And if you really want to take them down even faster, just go ahead and use a finisher on them with your radial howl. Now, when it comes to your radial howl, the one thing that, you know, everybody wants to note is that, oh, it has a longer delay than radial blind, so technically, you know, it's different and it's not as good. I'm gonna be honest with you, I feel like they're actually pretty much the same. If I use them side by side, I feel like radial blind is just a little bit faster. There's still a delay on drawing the sword and when the sword actually flashes. So I feel like they're very close, if, you know, maybe they're not secretly the exact same. But we'll have to test that out at a different time. Legitimately, when you're doing the howls, one of the things that you want to do, especially when you're getting towards, you know, the later stages of solo survival, is whenever you're about to round a corner, go ahead and cast the howl. Whenever you're about to go through a door, cast the howl. Don't do it when you're actually doing it. You have to preemptively set it up so that when you round that corner, it'll go off right in enemies' faces, and that way they'll end up blind, because there have been so many deaths that I have encountered rounding a corner or going through a door and not realizing there's an enemy like right on the other side, not even like behind the door, but like right to the side of the door that you can't see. So make sure that when you come in through a door, you have your blind already charging up, and you can even just slide on through to kind of like get through there faster and kind of position yourself better if there are enemies just like right behind you on the other side of the door. Those are definitely a big thing. Also, one thing to note is Lifestrike is fantastic. Lifestrike is amazing on this. However, it is very, very easy to bust through a lot of your energy in a panic moment when you're like taking lots of hits left, right, and center, and you don't realize those hits don't really matter. Like, they're like little teensy tiny hits. But yeah, one of the things that I will always say is, if you take another hit, which is fine, first thing you need to do, don't worry about tossing on Exalted Blade. Make sure you get a Radial Blind out. Radial Blind will always trump Exalted Blade to make sure, and because of the fact that I do have a Zelos in there, if there's anything that is really causing you trouble, you can go ahead and do a couple finishers. For those of you guys who aren't aware too, while you're in your finisher animation, you're actually invincible. So you can do a couple of those finisher animations, hopefully trigger one of the Exodiamites in there so that you can get some health back, and then go and turn on your Chromatic Blade yet again so that you can get back to all the good slicing and dicing. So keep that in mind. If you are out of energy, that will definitely help you out. Regardless, it's a super fun build. I've had a lot of good times with it. The only thing I will say is just be careful. Those nullifiers and those shock, I feel like those are the ones that always kill me. Those bastards are the ones that do it. So make sure you're paying attention to where they are and taking them out quickly. But that's pretty much it for this build. I'm really happy with it as of now, and I know that there are other builds out there. There are going to be some really cool ones. I know Mogamu's got one coming out that uses Zenistar, and I'm sure there's others floating around, but this definitely is more tailored to the playstyle, because I've tried like the more camping builds, I've tried some of the more crazy technical ones. I like this one. It's straightforward, not too crazy. You just kind of have to use good timing with your howls, and you have to know the order of operation to deal with bad when shit goes bad, because shit goes bad sometimes. Also, don't be like me and use the wrong focus tree. Make sure that you're swapping into the appropriate one, but that about does it for me for now. And as always, love somebody, hurt nobody, and touch yo body. I'll see you guys next time with some fashion frame, because that's all I've been hearing is, Rob, do Umbra fashion frame, do Umbra fashion frame. It's coming, but we got to get the builds first. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.